Well, welcome everyone. This is Cindy with Cindy's Cards and More, and it's Tuesday, so it's time for another quick and easy card. Well, I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving last week. I didn't do a video because I was in Albany, New York, visiting my husband's family. So, had a great time, but now it's time to get back to making cards and having some fun. And Christmas is right around the corner, so we need to get those Christmas cards finished. So I had a great idea today. I haven't used the Merriest Moments Bundle, and this stamp set I think is a must because our Christmas catalog is ending soon. So this special holiday catalog has some great bundles in it and stamp sets, but this one I think is a winner because it has some great things that you can do with cutting out the die and using an embossing folder. So I'm going to show you all that. So I wanted to show you this first, and yesterday over at Paper Crafts by Elaine I did this quick and easy card with this bundle. Isn't this cute? So you can go over to Paper Crafts by Elaine on Facebook and you can watch this video, or you can also go on her YouTube channel. This is a great quick and easy card to do, and all I did was a little bit of shading and use that. But today I decided I'm going to step it up a little bit, and this is the card we're going to make. Isn't this gorgeous? And it really isn't a difficult card to make. It just requires a little bit of die cutting, stamping, and getting all your pieces together. But I'm going to show you how to do all of that very quickly. So I wanted to show you, I'm also going to show you how you can get another shade out of our colors that we're going to use today. So this is just Jade and this is Polished Pink. And these are my favorite colors to be using during the holidays. So I've decided just to continue my series and do the focus on that. So what I did first to get this started is I used the die to cut this out. And look at this, this die is great. One big piece of die. And you do that. It also has a stitched framelit that you can go in the middle too if you want to do another layer or whatever to stamp your thing. But we're actually going to stamp right on this today with our sentiment. So that's the first thing I did. And then the second thing I did is that I put it in the embossing folder, and then look how it just fits just perfectly. And I embossed it, and then that's what it looks like. Now, isn't that great? Just love that. So that's what we're going to be using for our card. So we're going to, again, those are your two colors you're going to use, and you're going to use your basic white. Now, what I decided to do on this is I'm going to show you how I kind of put all my pieces together and get them ready to be die cut. And then this would be very easy for you to do when you're making your card, is you just kind of have to think about when you're designing your card on the pieces that you're going to need. So I am going to be using, and I did actually pick them all out here, I'm going to be using this larger holly, and then I'm going to be doing a smaller one of these. And on the inside, I decided that I'm going to go ahead and put something on the inside of the card too. So I'm going to do that also. So we're going to need one of these, and then two of the smaller ones. I'm going to be using the Season's Greeting on the inside, A Joyful Christmas on the outside, and I'm going to be using these hollies. So I'm going to be actually using two of the larger hollies and then one of the medium-sized holly, and then I'm going to do two of these smaller hollies for the inside of the card. So again, once you kind of figure out those are the things that you're going to do, then I just kind of get organized and get my stamps going, and then I'm going to go ahead and stamp everything. And then you'll see that it's much easier when you do it that way to go ahead and get your stuff going. So we got to do my test, you know that. Now, one of the things that you'll notice that this will stamp a little darker, but once it dries, it will become lighter. So it's not going to actually be that color once the ink sets and dries. So we're going to need one of the larger ones. There we go. Isn't that pretty? I just love this set. It is so pretty. Lots of things. You can even just stamp the items and not have to cut them out. You can do all sorts of things with that. Now we're going to do this one. We're going to need 2 of those, remember. One for the outside and one for the inside. There we go. Keep that going. And I like to use my outside of my stamp set because I think that works out just perfect for that. So then we're going to need our hollies. And you can use a smaller block on that if you want, so you don't have to worry about getting ink all over the block. Sometimes that really does help in using the proper size block in order to get your items. So remember, we're going to need 2 of the larger, here we go, 2 of the larger ones. All right, and then we're going to need 1 smaller, what I call the middle size. There we go. There we go. And then we're going to need 2. Let's see, put that back. And we're going to need 2 small ones for the inside of the card. There we go. You know, always do that testing to make sure that it's got the ink good. And I just space them out because it'd be much easier once you start putting your dies down to cut them out. Now the other thing that I did use is there are some small little flowers here, little hollies that I use to cut out, and I'm going to show you how to get a lighter version of this polished pink in order to do this as an accent. So all I do is when I do that is I go ahead and lay down my dies and get them all set. So that way when you're putting them through the machine, it'll be much easier to go ahead and get them all cut. And then what I also do too is I use a little tool that is, got to do that the right way here. You got to find how sometimes these work. So you're going to put all those down. You're going to put your die down, and what you have to sometimes figure out is you have to move it around until you find where that piece is, so it works to cut this out. And you just kind of have to keep going around until you find, there it is, there it is, and you find out where that is. Same thing with the larger die. You just kind of have to keep moving it around until you find where that piece is. Sometimes you can mimic where you can find a unique piece. See, all you're going to do is line that up. Now what I also do is I use Post-it note tape. You can use a Post-it note, but I use tape. You can find that in Amazon too. It comes in a big white roll, but I've had that for a while. But this Amazon tape is Post-it note tape is great, because once you have your die set, then you don't have to worry about it moving around. You can just use that Post-it note tape. It won't stick to your pieces that you're cutting out. Once you do all that, put these down. Now these I'm going to keep white because I'm actually going to do some shading on those. So then once I have all that done, I run that through, I cut it, I move it over to the other piece, and then I cut that, and then you'll be all done. So once that's all finished, then I have all my pieces laid out. So I have my larger, I have my 2 smaller ones, I have my leaves, and then I have my little white pieces that are these little flowers. Now what I decided to do when I was doing my design is that I wanted these pieces to be a lighter shade of this polished pink. So all I did, and get my proper ink pad out, because we don't want to be making them green, because that won't work with my little card, is we want this to be a lighter color. So all I do is just stamp this a little bit, just a tap, and then all I did was just kind of put some ink on it. These brushes are a must for your toolbox, because you can do so many things when you need just a different shade on something. So I tell you, they are a definite jewel for doing that, and you don't have to worry about even with putting a lot of ink on it, because it does have just enough sometimes to do what you need to do the shading. And if you don't, it's not dark enough, you just put a little bit more on it. It's not a big deal. You can make it as light or as dark as you want, which really works. All right, and that's what I'm going to use. Okay, so now that we've got all that done, I think it's time to go ahead, and I'll move all this over, and we're going to go ahead and start putting our pieces together. And my dog is hearing the garbage man today. She doesn't like those big trucks, so she always lets me know when they're coming by. All right, so we've got our pieces done, and we're going to go ahead and put this together. So this is 5.5 by 2 inches, and I went ahead and so that way it's on the entire back on bottom side of the card. Just putting a little glue on that. And this is a standard size card, so this is 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4. So the way I make sure that I line this up is sometimes I just set this down to make sure that it's edge to edge. All right, got that done. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and take our piece here, and I'm going to go ahead and take my A Joyful Christmas, and I'm going to do that in just Jade, and that is how I'm going to actually just stamp right on this instead of adding a layer. I decided that I didn't really need a leather layer on that. I want to make sure that's good and inked up before I stamp on it. And because I know that I'm going to be putting my flowers and my holly on that side, I'm going to kind of do this more in the bottom right hand corner. Try to get that lined up. There we go, all done there. Now we're going to go ahead and take my flowers, and I'm going to go ahead and put my larger flower down, my larger holly, and that's kind of where I want that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my larger, kind of get this laid out a little bit, and then I can glue it down. I'm going to put my larger leaves here on either side of that, and then I'm going to put my smaller leaf here. All right, and then I'm going to put my other one on top. Now you can use a dimensional if you want. I decided not to because I'm going to put this one in the mail, so I don't want to bulk it up. So all I'm going to do here is that I'm going to use my Tombow glue, and I'm not going to glue the entire piece down. I'm just going to glue the middle down because I want to be able to tuck these leaves, these holly leaves, in behind my flower. Kind of give you an idea. And there, you know, when you do this and you assemble it, once you get all your pieces done and you stamp them, then it's just a matter of assembling, which is the kind of the easier part because you've already got it done and designed. Then you just kind of put your pieces together and you've got several cards. And that's what I love about doing these pieces in advance. Makes it a lot easier when you're trying to get those Christmas cards in the mail, because I think we have to get everything in the mail by, well, I think they said what, the 15th, so everybody gets it. Now remember those little ones that I did, those little ones with just the light pink on it. Now I'm going to put that in the middle because I thought that would add a great dimension with just that lighter color there. See how pretty that is? I just love that. Now when we start putting this on the card, I'm going to go ahead and just put that down for now. Make sure that I get it all on the card. There we go. And we have, there's one little piece I saw that didn't cut out. It didn't pop out on my, there we go. Easy peasy. Now what you can do once you get this down and you don't want these edges sticking up, then you can go ahead and put a few pieces, a few little dots of glue and hold it down a little bit. You can use your tape runner, but I'll tell you one thing that happened to me, and this is kind of funny. I was out visiting my in-laws and my family, and up in Albany, and I gave one of my brother-in-law had his birthday, and I did a birthday card for him, and I had used my tape runner, and I'd made the card several weeks ago, and it was very cold up there, and when he opened it, one of the layers came off. So, lesson learned that I think in the future when I do that, I'm going to make sure I use my glue, because that glue, Tombow glue, will not let things pop off. Now, I decided that I wanted to add a few embellishments on here. So that's why I did a few extra of my flowers, and I'm going to put a flower up here because I wanted to add, I didn't want that all that white. So I wanted to add a flower there, and I think I'm going to do another flower down below that's a smaller one. I'm going to do that one down here. Now, one of the things, you know me, I always do bling, but I decided on this card, it kind of has a soft look to it. So I decided that I wanted to do my pearls this time instead of doing my bling. So I'm going to put a couple of pearls. I think I'm going to do a larger pearl here. And I'm going to definitely put a larger pearl on this one. Now, what a difference that makes. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Get that other flower that wanted to pop on there. Isn't that pretty with a little bit of those pearls on there? I think that just adds quite a bit to this card. Just adds enough that it's got a little bit more color on it. Kind of mute that white a little bit. All right, now time to do the inside of the card. And okay, there we go. I have my piece there, and it just moved on me. So on the inside of the card, I told you I was going to do the season's greetings, because I am going to put something down here at the bottom. So I didn't want anything to be too large. At first I thought I would do one of the larger sentiments, but once I kind of looked at it, I decided that that really wasn't going to work for me, and that I needed something a little bit smaller. So I'm going to do this in the polished pink. I'm going to do my test, because you know me, I always have to do that. I almost forgot to do that. There we go. Try not to get my head in there. And then I'm going to take those few other pieces that I had. Remember, I had the medium size poinsettia here, and I'm going to go ahead and stick that down. And then I had my two pieces of the small holly that I had already cut out, and I decided that I was going to put that down because I thought that would be a pretty thing to do, just adding a little something. Now you could stamp it if you wanted, but I decided since I was already doing my die cuts that I would go ahead and do that. And then I have another small little flower here that I have left that I would put on here as adding a layer, just to add something. Now you can go ahead and put another piece of pearl on there, but I decided on the inside of the card I wasn't going to do that. So all I'm going to do is put my little Tombow glue on here. And I have finished my card. Now isn't that a pretty card? Now this, again, reminder of this is the one I did yesterday, and now this is the step up of what I did today. And I still believe that this really is a quick and easy card. It doesn't require a lot because you have this very beautiful background here. And just adding a few of the poinsettias and adding a little color in there, you really can do a lot with this bundle. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it because I am trying to grow my channel. And like I said, I do my quick and easy card every Tuesday, and I will post this. And I will be doing my blog again. So if you'd like to subscribe to my blog for tips and tricks and things that I do, you can go over to cindyscardsandmore.com and subscribe to my blog. I hope everyone has a great week and get all that Christmas shopping done and get your Christmas cards made, because you need to go ahead and get those in the mail soon. And I believe that Stamping Up is actually going to be having a year-end Christmas sale based on our holiday catalog. So this bundle, I'm not sure, it might be going on sale. So stay tuned and be looking for that information on my Facebook page at Cindy's Cards and More. So I hope everybody has a great day. Bye now.